So growing up, my mom always had this thing where she called it Mad Money.
Mm-hmm.
And Mad Money basically for me and my mom was like anything that we wanted to do outside of like our regular like shopping excursions and getting whatever. Um, she would always have like cash on hand for, and I knew where it was. It was like a specific place in the house and all kind of stuff. I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe.
Hello, friends. We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kendrin.
What up? What up? It's Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. And if you've never been here before, we do a cross section of real life and pop culture. Today, we are extending our conversation about goal setting. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and drop down and subscribe to this channel.
Please do.
We're here multiple times a week. So I
shout out to all of our newbies.
Yes.
Before you get
Hello.
to the meet. There's a lot of y'all now. Hey y'all, welcome to the community.
All right. I subscribe to this newsletter called Q. It's from Lisa Nicole Bell. I'll drop the information down in the description box. She also does Behind the Brilliance, which can be a little heady, but I learn a lot. It's a lot heady, honestly. And I don't listen to every episode too either, because sometimes I'm just not in the mood for it. Mm-hmm. But when I have listened, I've gotten good tools and interesting perspectives, even if sometimes I don't necessarily agree with them. Mm-hmm. So I listen to it as a mental challenge a lot of times. So it's not like I'm getting all of the information either. I just do it because I like a challenge. Mm-hmm. So anyways, her newsletter is a little bit more digestible, I would say. And yeah, I wanted to talk through one of the newsletters a little bit.
Please do.
So she talks about a minimum effective dose. So essentially, when you have all of your plans for the year, all of your goals for the year, a lot of times if we can't do the big thing, we will do nothing. So her hello. Okay.
But no, I mean, to our credit, last year we each did one major thing.
Yes.
So we kind of did a little something.
We did. But so for her newsletter, she talks about what is the minimum thing that you can do to still say that you did something toward your goal, even if you don't have time to do the biggest thing. So mm-hmm. She gives the example of like going to the gym. She talks a lot about how she works out and she's very disciplined and she works out for like an hour a day, 5 days a week or something like that. So she's like, but sometimes there's a meeting or sometimes I have to be somewhere and I don't have time to work out for an hour. So what is my minimum thing? And my minimum dose, effective dose, I think is what she called it, is to take a walk in the neighborhood for 20 minutes or to do a 30-minute workout at home if I don't have time to go to the gym. Mm-hmm. And so it got me thinking about like, what are some of the minimum effective things we can do towards our goals?
So I like this idea because this is actually something that you and I are working on as it relates to our business, which is Black and Curious. Mm-hmm. And just also ourselves. We have been, and I won't speak for Kendrin, but I feel like I'm accurate with this. We have been collectively like, I don't want to be in the front. Don't put me out there. I don't, stuff promotion, what? And so now we are equally trying to like do more little social media things as it relates to like Instagram reels and like TikTok stuff that isn't just so like conversational. It's just it shows more of our lifestyle stuff. Yeah. And I think that's our like minimal like little bit of thing. Like, okay, I'm going out to like this, well, if I was Kendrin, I'm going to this fancy restaurant and I'm gonna like take pictures of the food and I'll like tag it and then I'll put it on Twitter and Instagram and whatever else have you, and people react to it and react to it well because Kendrin is always at the flyest of flyest places and I can't wait to get back to Miami. So for me, it's been a lot of like just simple stuff that people are attracted to, that I, myself included. I like grocery hauls. I think it's weird, but I do like it. So I was just like, you know what, I can do this. It's weird to film in public. I will not lie to y'all. That day that I tried to do my Instagram reel that y'all have seen in 2 clips, baby, it was so many people in damn Trader Joe's that day. And like one of the shout out to one of our supporters, she was just like, yeah, don't nobody work no more. That's why everybody was in there, because it was the middle of the day. It was probably like noon on a Friday. Like, what in the hell? So anyway, my minimal thing is anytime I'm doing something that could be content worthy, I'm gonna snap a photo or like a couple second clip of it and then move forward. So like that's where I am. That's my thing. What about you?
Okay. I have a few, honestly. I have a few that I've been working on.
Only
I have one that I've done for a really long time that I think maybe could be a little helpful. And I think I've pretty much bullied all of my friends into doing this. So when I was a ute, I set up an online banking account and I would just transfer, even though I didn't have a lot of money at the time and I wasn't making a lot of money, I would transfer like, I don't know, $10 a week or something to, and I set it up to automatically draft so that it just went to a place. And that account has grown a lot over the years because I've upped it, you know, over the years. But I think that's sort of the things is like, okay, I can't save. Maybe you're not going to have the mind to like save a ton of money all at once, or maybe you'll get a little bit of extra money in your account. And you will be able to save those big chunks of money, but those little amounts add up. So I think a minimum effective dose for me and something I've done for a long time is just setting aside a little bit of something.
Yeah, so, I stole that from Kendra.
Yeah. And then when, you know, tax refunds, but like, you know, if I got a tax refund or a bonus or whatever, then I was able to like contribute to that in a more meaningful way. But, you know, that $25 added up and now I'm at a larger amount, of course, but yeah, it added up.
One of the things too that I'll point out as it relates to that is, so growing up, my mom always had this thing where she called it mad money. And mad money basically for me and my mom was like anything that we wanted to do outside of like our regular like shopping excursions and getting whatever, she would always have like cash on hand for, and I knew where it was like a specific place in the house and all kind of stuff. And so with Kandrin and like Tiffany Aliche, shout out to the Budgetnista. Yes. I have kind of turned that mad money and like, you know, just putting a little money away in another account and like the multiple accounts Tiffany Aliche strategy. I have over the years had like just a random like internet banking account that I transferred money to directly, and then I had a debit card attached to that, so that way that account would be for me like my mad money, as my mom would call it. And then I had still like my separate accounts that I put money into, and that benefited me like times tenfold, because like Kendra said, you'd be surprised how much money you will have over time if you continue to do that. So for the money aspect of that, the minimum dose for me is the Tiffany Aliche method, which is having multiple accounts that are for specific things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I actually just did that this week too. I set up a new account for like, you know, my tricking off, because my tricking off is getting expensive.
Girl,
so like I need to see the money go down from that account. Like we need to set a boundary around that.
That too. My newest thing is for my business stuff. I've set up another account by Found. And what I like about them, if you are like a freelancer or you have your own business in general, they separate your payments out for tax purposes. So that way you don't even have to do all the math and stuff later on. And it's not like a fee type account. It's another internet bank, but it helps a lot in terms of like your income that's coming in. And like I'm currently a freelancer, so, and I have my own business, but yeah.
I love that. So fitness is another one.
Girl.
I did really well for a long time, and then I moved and I didn't have a gym ready, but even still, I did really well for a long time, but the pandemic just like threw me completely off. I did some like challenges or whatever, and I was really consistent with those, but I haven't been consistent since. So actually at the end of the year last year for December, one of my coworkers suckered me into doing a jump rope challenge, which honestly, she did not even complete which I still have feelings about that. You know who you are. If you watch this, I'm gonna tell you to watch it. And I actually went for my physical at the end of last year and was just like, oh yeah, I'm just jump roping. And the nurse practitioner who saw me was like, no, that's actually really good because jump roping for 5 minutes is like doing 20 minutes of cardio. It's really good for you. So I think my minimum effective dose for working out, like, yes, I need to do more rigorous workouts, and I usually do them when I work from home, but for a daily basis type of thing, I can find 5 minutes to jump rope a few extra times a week when I'm not working out as much as I should be. And I think that and stretching too, because as we get older.
Girl, I am awful about that. I really need to stretch because I have the back and hips of my 60-year-old mother, 67-year-old mother, and that is dumb. I am not that old.
Working from home really, even though it's convenient, I feel like it really like messed a lot of us up because we were not sitting in proper chairs, we were not moving our bodies, we were not walking down the hall. And this is not advocating for going back to the office, because
it ain't.
What it is advocating for is being considerate about how we're spending our day when we're working from home. So like I said, if I can't do a full workout and I just don't feel like it, like at least I can go grab a jump rope for 5 minutes and do that.
I'm trying to tell you.
For my relationships, so she lists them here. Like I said, I'll link this down below, but for relationships, I'm finding myself sending a lot more like text messages just to be like, hey, you get over there. For my family and my friends that I don't really talk to a lot, but just wanting to know like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I think that's important. Maybe we don't get to have a long conversation on the phone or whatever, but hey, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah, I think I do this already, where I reach out and talk to my peoples because I'm a talker. I'm gonna run my mouth wide. But what I have found here recently is that I need to be more expressive about how I feel about certain things in relationships in order for things to be different. And so, like, the things that I said around Thanksgiving to my brother, which is my cousin that I grew up with as a brother.
I love that. Brother. I have some of those.
It made a difference because now he's very much he don't people, but like I'm in the circle, so he will people with me. And so he like now sends me like stupid things on Instagram, and we talk about making plans to do stuff, and like I am so excited because like that is my brother for real. And I missed him and I expressed it, and like it made a huge difference. I'm so excited. So like he never gonna see this, but I love you, brother.
Love you, brother. And then her last one was sort of like a personal development thing. So I'm not big on journaling. I've never been big on journaling, but I am doing morning pages. So I try to do it every day. It's like a very specific thing. I don't know that I'm doing it right, but I'm still doing it.
No way to do it wrong.
Well, it has a specific context around it, but anyways, the idea, it comes from The Artist's Way by, I think her name is Julia Cameron. I haven't read the book, but I've heard it mentioned a few times. And it inspired me to like, do the thing. And so I picked a notebook. I wanted to use the notebook, and the pages the lines are small. And it's a little bigger than my typical notebooks. So I was like, I ain't never gonna make it to 3 pages because you're supposed to go 3 pages. And sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. And I'm like, okay, if I get up here and write 1 page, it's fine. Like, and so that is a good enough when I don't have it in me or I'm not, in the mood to write 3 pages. So I think I've tried to start adapting this like minimum effective dose. And I think it's a very good thing. So part of the email was basically to think about these things in advance so that you aren't in the moment like, oh, I don't have time for that. It's like, no, I can do a little bit of something.
Personal goal for me would be to get more back into the practice of grounding myself. Previously, in like my spiritual walk, I would sit and like have conversation with my loved ones on the other side. And I would read from the Bible, like whatever, came about. I would kind of do like a Bible divination, which is where you kind of flip and where the page lands is what you read.
Hmm.
And so I've not done that in a really long time, years to be exact. But I'm trying to get back into the practice of at least having like morning coffee with my loved ones and like meditation and or tea, and just kind of being still long enough to receive whatever word it is that I need to hear from God, but also just kind of like giving flowers to my loved ones on the other side, like this is where I am, this is what I'm doing, can y'all believe it, even though like this is very woo woo and they're not necessarily like for some people they don't believe that they are present with you in the room. I am not that. When I sit down, we have a powerful conversation every time. But I just don't do it as often or as consistent. It really is the consistency thing. I think that's my issue, is trying to get back into the posture of being still long enough to have conversation with them and be in practice. And I have not.
So maybe your morning thing, instead of when you don't have time for a deeper meditation or deeper conversation, like you're going to have a coffee regardless. So maybe just sitting still with the coffee is is sort of like a minimum effective dose is what we're calling it, but like the minimum that you can do to feel some sort of connection is just to have the coffee and be present in that moment with the coffee and whatever it is you're connecting to at that moment.
I think I just might need even to change it, as opposed to, because I'm not a morning person. And so with here lately with me having and not anxiety, insomnia all the time, like I am just up until like sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning. And I think sometime last week I went to bed at 7:30. So it may be easier to go back to like having, like nighttime chats and like grounding in that way. And I used to keep a journal next to my bed, and I would, like write down all the things that were good that day, or write the things down that I'm just grateful for in general. And like I felt like though doing that consistently or semi-consistent made a difference in how I felt, both going to bed and waking up. So just trying to get into a new routine at this stage in my life is really what I'm going to be working towards.
I love that. So anyways, drop down in the comments, let us know what your goals are, and like what is the minimum you're going to do to like reach any one of your goals this year.
What's feasible for you. Make sure you are following us on all of our social media. Check out blackandcurious.com. We don't have nothing new up there right now, but we will.
We will, because I'm working on my book list. I've been reading, so I'm gonna work on my book list.
Oh, I have things to contribute, so let me know. I can email you my books that I purchased. And we will see you guys in the next conversation. Bye.